And now more of Inside Central Oregon.
Hi, I'm Dave Clemens. In studio with me, I have James Morris, a local author here in Central Oregon. Did you grow up in Central Oregon?
I did not. I grew up in California, in the Bay Area. I was in California 36 years before I moved to Central Oregon. Been here since 2000.
So you've been here for a while.
Yeah.
Haven't heard of very many people moving from California to Central Oregon.
Well, my employer actually found me down in California and made it very enticing. They flew me up here. I fell in love with the place and said, yeah, I'm definitely moving.
Now, were you writing back then, or that came
No.
later?
So my writing career started about 10 months ago when I got forced into retirement because of the pandemic. That kicked off my writing career. I've always wanted to be a writer. Wrote my first book. It was really bad. Since then, I've rewritten it and put it out again. But it's something I enjoy doing. And so here it is, 10 months later, currently on my fifth book.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you, because I've got a stack of 4 of your books here, and I'm thinking, you did these 4 books in 10 months?
I did. Highway 1 homicides and Route 66 homicides, kind of a set, because one comes right after the other. That one was just a lot of fun because it follows a serial killer, and I just had a lot of fun killing people that way. So it just kind of rolled right off my 9 fingers.
Hey, yeah, so, what's the deal there?
Yeah,
you lost a finger.
A few years back, I had a friend, my friend is going to listen to this, and he's going to freak out if I tell this whole story. But yeah, I had a friend that it was a boating accident. Let's just say I was holding the rope too tight.
Oh.
And when I flew off the boat, my finger didn't come with me.
Oh, gosh. Did that make, I'm assuming you're using a keyboard, right?
Yeah.
Did that make things a little bit tougher?
It actually made it easier. I have no idea why, but I learned pretty quickly how to hit the S with a different finger and Z's.
And so you're fine.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't think I lost any speed.
You need to put that on the back of your book where it's talking about you somewhere on the, J.H. Morris is a fictional author living in Central Oregon with 9 fingers and still able to write almost 5 books in 10 months.
Yeah.
Incredible. So you really like this thriller stuff?
Yeah, I do like the thriller, the suspense, just going through, crime, trying to figure out who's the one that's doing the killing and being a menace to society. A
little bit of mystery in there, then.
Yeah.
What happened in your background that made it possible for you to write about serial killers? Because I couldn't write about serial killers. A lot of times, someone that does write about serial killers is because they have some sort of background. They used to work for the CIA or the FBI or Stop the Serial Killer Club or whatever. Do you have a background in this kind of stuff?
Back in California, I was actually wanted to be a police officer when I was growing up. And I always had a fascination for homicide detectives. So that's where it kind of started. It wasn't until I came up here and my wife now that I met up here. She loves the true crime shows.
Of course, right.
And so I got into that and started listening, and I'm like, that would make a great story. And so that's kind of sometimes where I get my ideas. I also get my ideas from just about anywhere. I can sit at a park and watch somebody walking by and
you're building a story, right?
Come up with a story with that guy or girl. Next thing I know, they're in my book, and they have no idea.
Right. Great. You gotta buy James's books just to see if you're in them. If you live in Central Oregon, there's a chance you're in that book. So tell me about that process as far as writing the books. This happened so quickly for you. You've kind of got the idea mapped out in your head as far as how it's going to start, how it's going to end, and just kind of fill in the rest as you.
Yeah,
is that how that works?
That's almost exactly how I do it. I want to grab people's attentions, the reader's attentions right off the bat. So the first chapter, you're almost always going to have something exciting happening. And then I will write the end. And then I'll figure out how I go from the beginning to the end.
To get there.
And then just kind of like you said, fill in the blanks.
All new characters in each book, or is there someone that's kind of in more than one?
The Highway 1 homicides and Route 66, same characters.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones is all new. They're unique characters on their own.
I'm assuming when you write a book, it's kind of like your children. Like you would never say which one's your favorite, but I'm going to ask you, which book is your favorite? That's hard.
It is a hard question. Huh. So, California Highway, that's my first novel. So I think I have a connection to that.
Sure.
That one's not a thriller. It's just a general fiction. It's about a musician who has a really bad day and travels down Highway 1, meeting interesting people and learning some valuable life lessons.
Sure.
So it's a fun book. And then the other one, the other novel I wrote, is called For Sale. It deals with child trafficking.
Oh, wow.
And it follows the FBI and some detectives and how they bring down a child trafficking ring.
Oh, wow.
So it's a lot of...
Where does that one take place?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Doesn't really say.
I think it was in Nebraska. The city itself is...
You write these books so fast you don't remember.
I don't remember.
What you...
Well, considering I'm currently writing a book, and so it's taking place in San Francisco.
Sure.
And so I have, this is...
When do we get a Central Oregon book? I want a book that takes place in Central Oregon from James Morris.
Highway 97 Homicides.
Sure.
Coming soon.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. That's
one you're working on. Because you told me you've got several projects that you're thinking about.
Yeah. The current book that I am working on, which hopefully will be out, hopefully summer or fall, is Jars of Hearts. Mm-hmm. And it's another thriller. And then I'll start working on the Highway 97 Homicides. That one will kind of go along with my Highway 1. I figure if I do Highway 1, I grew up in California, so I did Highway 1. Now that I live here in Central Oregon, Highway 97 is my next.
Sure.
So I'll put a lot of scared thoughts.
You could go to each community and do one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah. You do Otomito Road in Raymond.
That might be a little boring. It might be just a short story.
You did Mackay in Prineville. Sure, just pick a road. Just some random road in every community. It'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Where do people get your books, James?
Currently, they can go online. You can go to Barnes & Noble or Amazon. It's available on those two, I know. It's available as ebook and paperback. You also go to my website, jameshmorris.com.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming in to talk about your craft, and I think it's really cool when people just shift gears in life. You're cruising along doing one thing, and you're like, you know what? What I really want to do is write. And here you are, 10 months later, 10 months after making that decision, and you're working on your 5th book.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and more to come. And I think each book that I do gets better and better. I look back at my first book that I wrote, and I really don't think it's that great. Still means a lot to me. It's still a good story, but it's just not as good as my books are that I'm writing today.
Sure. So. And that's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
You should continue to improve.
Oh, yeah. Always improve.
Well, thank you for being on the program. I appreciate
you bet.
it.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we've been talking to James Morris. He is a local author, and you can find his books wherever fine books are sold, mostly, right? Yeah. So we're going to say Amazon
and Barnes & Noble.
And look them up on the books. I see it says J.H. Morris, right? So remember that H and get the right guy. Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming in.
All right, thanks a lot.
You're listening to Inside Central Oregon, a weekly public affairs program from Horizon Broadcasting Group.